Look at her, so smug. Such a show-off. Thinks she's better. Little Miss Perfect. Why are you—
Take it, my child.
What is happening? It's filling with rice. Oh, thank you.
The night the houses filled with food was the night the laughter stopped. Her name was Amoka. She was 12 years old and small for her age. Her mother died when she was 6. Her father died 3 years later after a long sickness. After that, she lived with her mother's older sister in a small village near the Niger River in southern Nigeria. Her aunt had 5 children of her own. There was never enough food. Never enough money. Never enough time. Amoka wore the same faded blue dress almost every day. The hem was torn. One sleeve had been stitched so many times that it looked like a patchwork. Her slippers were too big and had cracks at the bottom. Every morning, she walked past a group of girls on her way to fetch water. They were daughters of traders and farmers who were doing better than most. They wore bright dresses from the market in Onitsha. Their hair was neatly braided with beads that clicked when they turned their heads. The leader of the girls was Ijeoma. Look at her dress, Ijeoma would say loudly. Even scarecrows look better. The other girls would laugh. Amoka never answered. She kept her head down and walked. Sometimes the words hurt so much that her chest felt tight. But she did not cry in front of them. She saved her tears for the night, when she lay on her mat and faced the wall. Her aunt was not a wicked woman. She was just tired. Tired of hunger. Tired of bills. Tired of trying. Amoka, go and fetch water. Amoka, sweep the compound. Amoka, take this cassava to the mill. Amoka did all of it without complaint. She was used to being last in line. Last to eat. Last to get new clothes. Last to rest. One afternoon, after the market closed, Amoka stayed behind to gather fallen vegetables that traders did not want. Sometimes she found half-rotten tomatoes or small onions. She carried them home in a small bowl. That day, as she bent to pick up a bruised plantain, she saw an old woman sitting near the empty stalls. The woman looked weak. Her wrapper was dusty. Her feet were bare. She held a small calabash in her lap. "Child," the woman called softly. Amoka looked around to see if someone else was being called. There was no one. "Yes, Mama," she asked. "I am thirsty." Amoka had only a little water left in her clay pot. She needed it for the long walk home. But she did not think twice. She knelt and held the pot to the woman's lips. The woman drank slowly. When she finished, she wiped her mouth and looked at Amoka closely. "You are kind," she said. Amoka shrugged. "You were thirsty." The woman smiled. From her lap, she lifted the small calabash. It was simple. Not decorated. Not shiny. "Take this," she said. Amoka shook her head. "I cannot take your only bowl." "It is not my only bowl," the woman replied. "It is yours now." Amoka hesitated, then took it. "When you are hungry," the old woman said, "place it on the ground. Speak to it gently. Tell it what you need. But remember, do not be greedy. Do not shout at it. Do not treat it badly." Amoka did not understand. Before she could ask more questions, the woman stood up. She did not look weak anymore. She walked away faster than someone her age should. Amoka watched her until she disappeared behind the palm trees. She looked at the calabash again. It looked normal. She carried it home. That night, there was almost no food. Her aunt divided a small bowl of watery soup among 6 children. When it was Amoka's turn, there was barely anything left. She went to her sleeping mat hungry. She remembered the calabash. She felt foolish, but she placed it on the floor beside her mat. In a soft voice, she said, "Please, we are hungry. Can you give us some food? Nothing happened. She waited. Then she heard a small sound. Like something shifting. She looked inside. The calabash was full of warm rice. Steam rose gently. Amoka froze. She touched it. It was real. She ran to the kitchen hut. "Auntie," she whispered loudly. "Please come." Her aunt followed her back, annoyed at first. When she saw the rice, she stopped speaking. "Where did you get this?" she demanded. Amoka told her about the old woman. Her aunt did not believe in magic. But the rice was there. Warm. Fresh. They ate quietly that night. Everyone had enough. The next morning, Amoka tried again. "Please, we need soup." The calabash filled with thick vegetable soup. Her aunt began to look at her differently. Not with anger. Not with pity. With respect. They did not tell anyone. Each day, Amoka asked gently for what they needed. Never too much. Just enough. Sometimes yam porridge. Sometimes beans. Sometimes stew. Her aunt stopped worrying so much. The younger children became stronger. They laughed more. Amoka's dress was still torn. But her face was no longer thin. One afternoon, Ijeoma and her friends noticed something. "Why do you look happy?" Ijeoma asked, blocking Amoka's path. Amoka shrugged. "You are still wearing rags," another girl said. Amoka smiled softly. "Clothes are not everything." The girls rolled their eyes. But they had seen something else. They had seen Amoka's younger cousins looking healthier. They had heard that her aunt no longer borrowed food. Rumors began. She must be stealing. She must have a secret boyfriend in town. She must be hiding money. Jealousy is quiet at first. Then it grows. One evening, Ijeoma followed Amoka home. She hid behind the mango tree near the compound. Through a small crack in the wall, she saw Amoka place a calabash on the ground. She heard her speak softly. She watched as food filled it. Ijeoma's eyes widened. She ran back to her friends. The next day, the girls confronted Amoka. "You have a magic bowl," Ijeoma said directly. Amoka felt fear for the first time. "It is not like that," she said. "You think you are better than us now," another girl snapped. "I never said that. We saw it. Give it to us." Amoka shook her head. "It is not for greed. It only works with kindness." The girls laughed. "Kindness," Ijeoma said. "Food is food." That night, while Amoka and her family slept, the girls crept into the compound. They found the calabash near the kitchen wall. They stole it. They carried it to Ijeoma's house. Her parents were traders. Their house was larger. Painted. With metal doors. The girls gathered in the back room. Ijeoma placed the calabash on the floor. "Give us jollof rice with chicken," she ordered loudly. Nothing happened. She frowned. "Give us meat. Lots of meat." Nothing. One of the girls kicked it lightly. "Maybe you must shout louder." "Food!" Ijeoma screamed. "Fill up." There was a small sound. Then rice began to appear. The girls screamed with excitement. But it did not stop. Rice poured over the edges. "Stop," one girl said, laughing nervously. More rice came. Then stew. Thick and red. It flowed onto the floor. Ijeoma tried to lift the calabash, but it was heavy. "Stop," she shouted. "Enough." The food kept coming. It moved across the floor, into the hallway. It slipped under doors. Soon, it reached the sitting room. Her mother woke up. "What is happening?" she cried. When she opened her bedroom door, soup rushed in. Within minutes, the ground floor was covered. The girls climbed onto chairs and tables. The more they shouted angrily, the more the calabash produced. It only stopped when one of the girls began to cry softly. "Please," she whispered. "We are sorry." The food slowed. Then it stopped. The house was a mess. Rice stuck to walls. Oil stains everywhere. Mud soaked. The smell was strong. The neighbors came running. By morning, everyone knew. The calabash sat quietly in the middle of the room. Idioma's mother demanded the truth. The girls confessed. Word spread quickly through the village. Amoka's aunt came to take the calabash back. No one laughed at her torn dress that day. People looked at her with a new kind of respect. But Amoka did not smile proudly. She only felt sad. Later that evening, as she washed the calabash gently, the old woman appeared again at the edge of the compound. "You have done well," she said. Amoka bowed slightly. "I did not want them to be shamed," Amoka said quietly. The old woman nodded. "Power shows what is already in the heart." The bow did not change them. It revealed them. "Will it always work?" Amoka asked. The woman smiled. "As long as you remain who you are." Then she left again. This time, Amoka knew not to follow. In the weeks that followed, something changed in the village. The girls who once mocked her stopped. Idioma avoided her eyes for a while. Then one afternoon, Idioma approached her alone. "I am sorry," she said stiffly. Amoka nodded. "It is okay." They stood in silence. "You could have told the elders to punish us," Idioma said. Amoka shrugged. "What would that change?" Idioma did not answer. From that day, the teasing stopped. Amoka's dress was still simple. Still patched. But something else had become clear. Respect does not always come from clothes. Sometimes it comes from quiet strength. Her aunt began using the extra food to cook and sell small portions at the market. They did not use the calabash to become rich. Only to support what they were already doing. Slowly, they saved money. Months later, Amoka got a new dress. It was not expensive. But it was clean and whole. When she wore it to the market, no one laughed. But the real change was not the dress. It was the way she walked. Head up. Calm. Sure. Years later, people still talked about the night the houses filled with food. Some said it was magic. Some said it was a lesson. Some said it was a story parents told children to teach them kindness. But those who were there knew the truth. Hunger is real. Jealousy is real. Kindness is also real. And sometimes, when kindness is tested, the results can be overwhelming. Amoka grew into a strong young woman. She helped her aunt expand the food business. She made sure no child in her compound went to bed hungry. She kept the calabash safe, but she did not depend on it alone. She worked hard. She stayed humble. And in the end, it was not the magical bowl that made her rich. It was her steady heart. The girls who once laughed learned something that night. Greed can flood your own house. Kindness can build it. And that is why, in that village near the river, people still say, kindness became her crown.